Story 3 was believed to be the last chapter of a trilogy, and now we have a new one coming out after 9 years.
Right.
When did you guys that are veterans of Toy Story, when did you start even considering the possibility of a new one, and why?
Wow, that was probably, what, 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, 5 or 6 years ago was when the director and the story people started thinking about making a movie. The rumor is, and I haven't talked to Andrew specifically, but after Toy Story 3 was finished, he immediately came up with this idea of what to do for Toy Story 4 and wrote a treatment. So that would, set 8 or 9 years ago kind of thing. And it was on the shelf as a bunch of ideas to work on. But then eventually came around with, well, this is a pretty good idea, and we don't have another good idea, better idea kind of thing. So we'll try to, put it into development and see where it goes. But we've worked on this film for over 4 years from when we first started working on it. It went through some story changes, so I worked on Cars 3 for a while and Coco for a while, in those 4 year span, but in general, calendar years, it's been 4 years.
Do you remember what triggered this idea that you had about it?
Well, it's just a good idea. What happened to Bo?
Yeah.
And what's
a great character.
What happened to Bo? And then, well, Toy Story 3 was the end of Andy's story,
Right.
but what about Woody? What does he go through now that he's not the king of the hill, the king of the room, whatever? He's now part of Bonnie's room, and there's a Dolly, I guess, is the leader, and that runs that room. So, what's Woody's story? And this turned out to be, the story of Bo and Woody and what happened to them, how they get back together, etc.
And Woody in Toy Story ran Andy's room, and of course meets Dolly, who runs Bonnie's room. But going way back, Bo was in Molly's room. So Bo was kind of the leader of that room, and she's kind of an important character in a sense. And for us, it was a super opportunity to go back and revisit a character we haven't seen for a long time, and to do upgrade her, make her look more, using the new tools, make her fit into the world a little better. Because back then she was a secondary kind of background character, but Ann Potts is such an amazing actress, and the voice and her backstory is so rich. So I think you had this really cool opportunity to tell a deeper, more interesting story about Woody and Bo. So. And
we see her in a completely different environment, in a completely different situation. Yeah. How did you build this new character?
Bo was a big important character for us. I mean, being again like she's a background in the beginning, but now she's got to kind of lead. She has to be much, we would call it bulletproof. She has to be kind of really a strong, well-designed, functioning character, because she's going to carry all the acting. So there was first the design of the porcelain and upgrading her face, because at the time it was very primitive. And so we called it Team Bo, and Team Bo was first working on sculpting her body and then upgrading her dress, because back in the day that her original dress was challenging to do, and because it's fabric and it's kind of moves at a different, it's not plastic in a sense. And then where is she now? So her growth, because she's no longer with the kid, and she's kind of grown. She's more self-aware, she's more empowered, she's her own boss. And so to see that change is really exciting when you revisit a character, because you remember who she was, but look who she's become. And
we had to deal with the fact that people remembered what she was like then, and to try to make that the new one be believable that transition could have happened, kind of thing. So we needed to, in the new version, new Bo, essentially, we needed to leave pieces of the old or upgraded pieces of the old, but still, give her a new look and a new set of clothes and stuff.
We're very proud of the team that worked on her from every aspect of it, because her outfit's a little different now, and she uses a skirt and uses it as a cape, and she's really cool. And from all the textures that they're able to apply, and the little details and the stitching and the lace, to the way the porcelain reflects and the way she is lit or lighting, I mean, she's a spectacular character.
That cape, though, I mean, why did you guys have to put a cape on her? That was the hardest thing to simulate, on her in this movie, because it's flowing all over.
You made it
It's,
look easy, though.
Jeez, yeah.
Talking about the other characters like Gabby Gabby, Duke Baboon,
Right.
old toys, antique toys. Have you guys been to like antique stores?
Oh.
How did you get?
Yes.
Was that fun? That
I mean,
part of the
it
job?
was fantastic. I mean, we did a lot of great research that was just fun to do. Obviously, we antique stores. Went to a lot of antique stores. So, just like cars, we were hoping all the gearheads and car people would kind of get it. We're hoping all the antique people go, yeah, I know that's my place. And so we really studied that, as well as carnivals. We went to a bunch of carnivals. That was super fun. So research we take very seriously. And the same with the research of the characters, say Gabby Gabby and even Duke Boom, these older toys that would have been in the antique store that are sold, in the antique store because they're vintage. And so the research on Duke was fun, and Gabby, just you go back, you reference the toys with the pull strings and the doll with the hair. The hair was another good technical challenge. But Duke is great because he's this motorcycle character, and he's been beat up a lot and crashed, and so he's got scrapes and marks all over in this plastic. So I think that part is just that's some of the funnest things we get to do, is to understand the world and the characters that live in it.
And then you had to design the Forky character, the new character, that Bonnie makes as part of out of crafts
which
at
is
preschool.
not fully a toy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's that we had a fantastic time where in a big room we had a large table, and we brought the crew in, and we got all these plastic forks and spoons, and then we got pipe cleaner and a lot of glue guns and glitter, and we spent half the day just making stuff, and that was, you don't get to do that when you're creating a character too often. That was super fun. So I think, again, a lot of these things, they they look good because the story's strong and the journey to get there. We have a lot of fun, designing and working towards a character.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.